Mobile One Super Cup in season 33. It is time to get 2025 going, and it's time to crown a brand new champion to this series. Another field of hopefuls hoping to be the champion by the end of this, but there can only be one, and this is our journey across 8 different rounds to try and figure that out. 4.9 kilometers, 3.05 miles, and we have 15 laps coming our way in the Super Cup today. 19 turns for the drivers to navigate, and it's definitely 19 tough turns for the field, especially on the evidence of practice and on qualifying. Well, it's a brand new season, and for the third time, you have myself, Omi, in the commentary box in the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup, and alongside me, though, for the first time in the Super Cup, is Tom Cairns. Hi, Tom.
Hello, yes, we are gearing up for some Porsche Super Cup action. Can Larry Tenforder defend his crown this time? Well, plenty of drivers in the field. We've got a number of guest drivers as well for the weekend, raring to go as well. But I'm very much looking forward to this one, Omi. We have got a lot of action to come over the course of, well, the best part of half an hour, it has to be said. We have a set number of laps for each race, but we'll see how this one goes. It is dry, no sign of any rain around the circuit, so we should be in for some fun action all the way through. So Overhouse on pole position. Doing very well indeed, getting his season off to the best possible start, but there are plenty of points up for grabs with all the other drivers looming in behind.
Yeah, absolutely. JB, you've demoted yourself down to the pit lane. Will you regret it? Well, I'll ask you that in a second, because we're going to go through the grid for the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup. This is our field. It's Theo Overhouse alongside Aria Levy, who'll go from second. Cass Havercourt's in third. Marvin Clin in fourth. Tausch is in fifth alongside Flint Schuring, who's brother of Morris Schuring, of course. Lechner Racing's Robert Dehan in seventh. Mathis Jalbert is going to go from eighth on the grid. All of these drivers were in contention for that pole position yesterday. It was really closely contested, and we're hoping for more of the same today. Alessandro Giretti in 9th, Janne Stiak is in 10th, Keegan Masters in 11th, Jaap van Lagen is in 12th position, Hugo van Eindhoven is in 13th, Aldo Frestante will go from 14th, and then we have Mikel Ascona from 15th, Pietro Deliguranti is the driver who starts in 16th. Doug Schuten, who's a driver who's very popular among social media, will go from 17th, Diego Bertinelli in 18th, Walter Borokamp in 19th, Francesco Bratski in 20th, Gustav Bertel in 21st, then it's Fireman in 22nd, Frank Porte Ruiz is in 23rd, and then we have Anders Fjordbach in 24th. Horst Felix Felbermeyer is in 25th, and then it's Jonas Greif in 26th place. Samar Shaheen is in 27th, alongside Anthony Imperato, and then it is Francesco Maria Fenici in 29th. Aaron Mason is in 30th position on the grid, and then Dylan Yip, who found himself qualifying but sent all the way to the back of the field. He was the 31st and final car on the grid. Well, back over to you, JB. Will you be regretting your decision to step away in about 30 minutes time?
Time will tell. Personally, I know that we are so wrapped up this year. We're doing 30 different series that on a Sunday. There's so much going on, the British Touring Car Championship, Moto2, Moto3. It made most sense to step away from the one series that is singular in nature and only across the two. So I can think of no one better to hand over the lead commentary role to you. I'll still pop in like I am now, around in the pit lane area, but I love the Porsche Supercups. It's a lot of fun, but I'm looking forward to enjoying it again as a viewer and pit reporter, not calling the shots at you have done. But anyway, you did like 3 last year out of the 8. You were the lead last year. Was your relief. You were on the way for the formation lap.
Yep, Yannis CX starting in 10th position, Tom. Another exciting field. Of course, Larry Tenforda announced his retirement at the end of last year. Harry King's not with us this year as well. So it's just a bunch of new contenders in this field, meaning that it's going to be highly competitive. We don't know who's going to be a champion. Usually it could be a bit predictable in terms of you could see a certain few drivers be contenders. This year, there is no certainty on who will be taking the crown. On the evidence of yesterday, it was super close, and hopefully it will be the exact same once again.
Yeah, just to correct myself, Lauren Tenforda is not on the grid, so he won't be defending his crown this season. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame because he's proven himself in the series for so. His ventures lie these days as we get interviews.
Nice track, nice hands, and then a pole position. I'm so happy. Car field mega thanks to Proton competition, and I can't wait for the race. It was really tricky. It's always tricky on the Formula 1 group to drive here with a cup car, but also the track limits are like really tight here, so for sure, if you're starting on pole, you want to win the race.
Really do indeed. It's highly important in the Super Cup. While it's really competitive, this is Imola. It is hard to overtake here, Tom, meaning that the challenge is much more harder compared to, let's say, when we do get to some other circuits like Spa, like Monza, where we're used to so much action, like Austria as well. So this might be one of the more let's just say quiet races in terms of the Super Cup this year, but it's still going to have plenty of action, but a bit of a different style of racing, which means qualifying is so much more important.
Yeah, I didn't see qualifying yesterday, but either way, we're gearing up for a brilliant race here at Imola. Of 15 laps it'll be, or half an hour plus 1 lap, whichever comes first. Theo Overhouse looking to get his season off to the best of starts. Looking at last year's Porsche Supercup, I know we're tight on time with the race about to begin very, very shortly. Theo Overhouse looking to improve on where he ended up last year. We've got quite a bit of time actually. We've got 31 cars coming onto the grid. Looking at where Overhouse ended up in the standings last year, he ended up 11th with a best finish of 5th that came at this track. So he certainly knows his way around here, does Theo.
He absolutely does. That's Theo Overhouse. Everyone right now getting themselves into position, and then the anticipation starts to build for another season. 32 years done. This is the 33rd. The Super Cup has been around for such a long time, and Dylan Yip is going to be the final car in position. 8 amazing new venues, 2 new teams, and a whole grid of exciting prospects for the future. This is going to be quite a lot of fun. We're about to get going for the Super Cup in 2025 as well. We start our journey right here at Imola. It could be the final time we get to come here due to the Formula 1 calendar changes that are planned as well coming in. But here we go. Dylan Yip about to get into position in the number 6 Porsche at the back of the field. And it is time to get going. The magical 5 red lights will come on screen in a couple of moments' time as we now look to them and wait and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights out! Season 33 is go for the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup. A great start off the line by Theo Overhouse. Aria Levy tucks in the slipstream. Cass Havercourt's going to be in there as well. Marvin Klin is definitely bogged down. Further back I can see he's losing some positions as we go down to the opening turn of the circuit. The Tamburello chicane. Can the whole field make their way through? It is still going to be Overhouse in the lead, and there's going to be contact, and Marvin Klin spins around and he's going to be collected in the field as well. Loads of spinners. It's a chaotic start for the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup, and there's more contact. Robert Dehan, I think, has spun directly ahead of Shaw. A huge incident to start the season in the Super Cup. Dramatic stuff, Tom.
Constantina's left, right and centre. No way through. Going through the yellow corner. But a super start from the pole sister. Taylor Overhouse defending his position from Levy behind. But I'd imagine the safety car is going to make an early appearance onto the circuit. which we'll see in a moment. There is Robert Dehaan in the gravel trap there. Plenty of cars. In fact, there was more carnage on the exit of Sambrello, even
Red
after
flag.
that.
Red flag has just been called. You're going to see it shortly. The race director said track blocked.
There we go. What a way to start the season. It all ends in tears. It all ends in a major... Oh my god, that's a huge impact as well coming in. Loads of drivers involved, JB.
Wow. Well, you said, would I regret it? It turns out I regret not commentating 1 minute 7 seconds into the season. This is huge. And this is going to be detrimental for Formula 1 now, guys, because there's oil on the circuit, and that's right at the exit of where the F1 drivers put the power down towards Villeneuve. This will be an almighty cleanup. We might only just see a reduced, maybe not even a race here now.
Yeah, it would be a terrible way to start the season, but with such a big crash, it definitely does mean that, yeah, the recovery, look at all of the recovery vehicles coming in, huge impact, and the most craziest way that we could have started the season. I did say it was going to be highly competitive, I did say it was going to be really, really close, contested. Don't know whether we're going to get much of that today. There is a lot to clean up, as well. So much damage, it'll be interesting to see the replays, but first of all, Tom, we've got to ensure that everyone is okay.
Yes, I saw some dust over at the Villeneuve chicane. I don't know whether there's been another incident further on ahead. We'll find out in a moment as we see the recovery vehicles on circuit. So there are 5 cars we can see there, plus another one that was further behind, stuck in the gravel trap. So we are in for quite a lengthy delay. Bearing in mind, there is the number 2. That's Marvin Klein in the gravel trap, another one of the hot favourites for this season, having his own melodies over the course of the start. They have to complete this race in time for the Drivers' Parade, which is at 1300 local time. 12 o'clock it will be over in the UK. So that is just over an hour's time. There's Alexander Toscher in the number 27. He'll be lifted onto the recovery vehicle. And that's Robert Dehaan, isn't it, with Alessandro Gueretti, who almost looked like he was limping a little bit as he got out of the machine at Sambrello. So it looks like he's okay. And I imagine there'll be more drivers heading for the pits with damage as well. I'm sure that they won't be the only cars that have been suffered some damage. Here's a replay of the start then, Naomi. So there's a good start there from Movaz. Really good getaway actually ahead of Levy. And there we see the number 24 of Kaz Havercourt tucking in behind. So it's very much a procession from the top 3 all the way to Tamburello with the slipstream effect. And then we're going to see the initiation of the concertina through Tamburello corner. So there's concert there. That's Tauscher going into Klein, and Robert Dehaan getting tipped round by Gueretti. And there's another car also. There's like a green livery machine that went into the gravel trap with Klein there. So it was just almost pandemonium. Well, it was very much pandemonium, so to say, even though pandemonium is very much an understatement. And then the aftermath of the initial incident, we're going to see someone get a huge whack on the exit here. Oh yeah, that's a T-bone. There's T-bones left, right and centre, Omi.
Wow. JB, what did you make of that?
First day back at school. And there's the lockup that Tom was on about down at Villeneuve with the dust being kicked up as well. And he has now been clear sector 5. That is down at Villeneuve. So someone did go off the circuit, you've seen on the monitors. Let's have a look with Dirk Stroughton then. Just going to get spun around. Takes the sausage curb on entry. Lifts up. The second phase, all concertinas, and there's the tap, and, well, where do you go? Oh, and that's bumpy as mad coming through. So, I've got 23 to 31 are out.
Yeah.
10
wild.
cars on my monitor now, not showing only 10.
Yeah, that is wild. Dirk Schutten, I have to say, was involved in a big crash as well 1 week ago. In the World Endurance Championship, there was... Of course, the Porsche Carrera Cup was supporting it. Loads of these drivers were in there, and they decided it was a good idea to go nearly 5 wide into Blanchimont at Spa. So that was always going to end in tears. Dirk Schutten hard into the wall there. So, of course, in the Carrera Cup, most of the drivers from this are in there anyway. So, from what I could see from the attitude of racing in there, with how aggressive everyone was, I did think that we would get to a bit of chaos here in the Super Cup, especially when it comes to collisions. And here we go. Here was the entire evidence of it all going wrong. Let's hear from Dehaan.
Oh, mate. And Dehaan is on that side of the car.
Oh, Robert Dehaan. He's going to be frustrated. Lechner Racing will be frustrated with that one. Marvin Klein wiped out. He's of course not got the Lechner colours, but he is part of Lechner Racing. Same, and then Robert DeHaan is the other driver. So they've got 2 drivers that they are fielding this year, and those were the 2 that were round. Jalbert also momentarily involved, but he was able to continue on. But it's wild, absolutely wild to see so many out, 10 not being able to make their way through in just one Super Cup start. We were talking about how Formula 2 could possibly be having a big crash like they did at the start-finish straight last year, but no, F2, F3 kept it clean at the start, but it was the Super Cup where it's all gone wrong, the final thing on before Formula 1.
Despite there being dry conditions as well, we wouldn't have expected this, although they are quite big machines, these Porsche 911 GT3s. So they are back in the pits now. JB mentioned the fact that there's like 10 cars not circling. I think it's 9 now, because Matthias Jalbert is in 22nd place. He made it back. But I'd imagine there's probably a few more cars, JB, that have been affected, that have made it back to the pit lane. So they may see another 1 or 2 not continuing on in this.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. So there will be definitely more involved. There we see the clearance going on of Francesco Braschi as well, the number 20 coming into play. Well, we were getting ready, we were getting excited for the start of some great racing to come our way, but instead a huge incident. Luckily, everyone does seem to be okay. Janis Stiak is the driver who's in 5th. Of course, everyone is okay, or we wouldn't be showing you those replays as well. But there will definitely be some medical checks that will go on. Some drivers will be required to go to the medical center. You never want to see cars stationary in the middle of the road with a whole field arriving to the scene. It all started with Klin, of course, being tagged round, Marvin Klin. In the Lechner colours, being tagged round, and that's what started it. But the marshals doing a great job, and as usual, we say thank you to the marshals for allowing us to go motor racing safely for moments like this. And yes, hopefully we can get everything sorted. I think there will be they'll sort out what they absolutely needed to get this race going, and then there will be some further stuff that goes on after the race to make sure it's completely perfect for Formula 1 later on, the Grand Prix.
I'm looking at the grid positions as to where everyone is at compared to where they are now. Omi, you got Jan Stiak,
Imola is
who
not only the
the
start of the European Formula 1 season, Imola is also the start of our season in the Super Cup. And we're always very happy to be able to come back here, because in fact this place is where we started the championship in 1993. On top of it, Imola is one of the most iconic circuits and the most iconic Grand Prix that are also, I would say, in the global motorsport calendar. And for us, of the Super Cup, to be part of that, same as we are with 7 more iconic European Grand Prix this year, is something that makes us feel very proud.
That didn't come from me. That was purely on the world feed in the audio as well.
Yeah, Ollie Schraub. We heard that exact interview in qualifying actually, so they're just repeating it because they have nothing else to play right now at the moment as well, because I remember hearing that Oliver Schraub, the project manager of the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup, telling us a little bit about it. Okay, so they're doing a very good job at cleaning this. We've got the Lechner of Robert DeHaan still yet to be cleared, I can see on the circuit. Then they'll get to work on the debris, and then we should be able to get going. Hopefully for a full duration as well, because as we mentioned, we have until 12, so we still have time. We still have a little bit of time to get this done.
Yes, we do. There's Teo Overhaus sat behind the Aston Martin safety car this weekend. You've got some gravel just needs to be brushed away from the circuit. Get the brooms out. Yeah, the old days. They're getting the brooms, sweeping away the gravel into the gravel turn, just like how marshals should be working, eh? Getting their money's worth by doing the job they're doing. They do a fantastic job as always, these marshals. Trained to do what they are there to do in situations like this. As we watch, there is Van Lagen in the pit lane there. Looking at where he is in the field. Van Lagen running in 11th place. There is Dirk Schouten running in 9th. One of the rookies in the field actually is Dirk Schouten. We've got Yannick Stiak, who's another one of the rookies. Flint Schuring. Another one of the rookies as well. He's the highest of the rookies in the field in 4th place. There is Marvin Klein's Lechner racing car being craned in. I say craned in, being lifted over by the tractor. And there's Robert DeHaan's car being towed away as well. They do a really good job here, it has to be said. I'd love to know how long it takes for 9 cars effectively that have stopped on the circuit to be craned away by the marshals. They could have done it under a safety car, but it would have taken them too long to get them away under those conditions. So that is why We're under a red flag. Bernd Mailander, the Formula 1 safety car driver, claimed both pole and victory in the Porsche Supercup at Imola in 1999. Yes, you've heard that right. Hence why he's been the safety car driver for events since the year 2000.
Yep, I guess. He knows what it's like to be in the middle of Porsche chaos. Okay, we've got to order them coming in for the restart. We're going to go with car number 2, that's Teo Overhouse. Then it will be the number 25, which is of course Levy. Havercourt will be next up as well, and then we'll find Flint, Schuing, Yannick Stiak, basically pretty much in the order that they are right now on your timing board at the moment, and very nearly they are done. So I think we're going to get the 10-minute signal very, very shortly. I think there's just a bit of debris that they're just finalizing, and then we'll get the 10-minute signal, and we'll have enough time to get a full duration of a race in, JB.
What new rule this year as well across the series is that you can actually have a 5-minute restart for the cars that aren't Formula. So with the Porsches here, you don't need to heat them up like an umbilical cord like you have in Formula 1. So we can go for a quick start procedure, which is a 5-minute countdown.
That's exactly perfect, I think, to get this one going as soon as possible, keep everyone waiting the least amount, and also just to allow the marshals to do that little bit extra work, maybe just to make sure the circuit's fully ready. We don't know what else this Porsche Supercup race has in store. There's definitely always some form of chaos. Right, we're going back to the start. We're taking a look at a couple more replays, and this is from an angle further back to see this entire field, the drivers at the back all arriving to the scene, and also with all of the dust being kicked up due to the gravel, it makes visibility even worse. I mean, when we went on board with the Schumacher CLRT car to see Robert Dehanov, we could barely see. I could just see a bit of pink. That's why I could identify that car on the opening lap. But the visibility was low. That means drivers were all going into...
Because I'm completely blocked. That's insane what they did.
Lots of frustrated faces 100% after this one, Tom. And of course, we're in a triple header. We'll go to Monaco next time out, and then after 5 years away, we'll go to Barcelona in Spain with the first ever Spanish team racing, and that is Hideka Racing as well, which the yellow colours, they had also a driver involved further back.
Yep, they've got Anders Fjordbach racing for them, as well as Mikael Ascona, who's one of the rookies in the field, another one of the rookies, which is good to say. I think they've reduced the number of laps for the race now, folks. It was a 15-lap race. It's now been reduced to 12, just to ensure that we do get this race finished before the drivers' parade, the Formula 1 drivers' parade, is due to begin at 1300 local time.
Yeah, I guess makes sense. The best chance to get this one in, we're going to do, and probably we'll end up with more safety cars also in between as well. So Yannick Stiak watching on there as well, the driver who's part of the Target team, who've also joined this championship now, and we're hopefully waiting for the 5-minute signal to come our way very, very shortly. Cass Havercourt, a driver on pole, can I just say, in Monza last year, but had it taken away from him. He's the driver who then had to start Monza from the back, so that was a chance of fighting for the win gone. So he's a driver who's going to want to fight back this season. A driver coming from single-seaters, now in these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars, is going to be hoping to be in contention. And Tom, I guess it gives us a bit of time, this red flag, to discuss a little bit about our contenders for this year, because there are so many of them. It's not a clear cut that, yeah, we're gonna get Dylan Pereira in contention, we're gonna get Larry Tenforda, we're gonna get Harry King, we're gonna get Bastian Boost. None of that. There's loads of contenders, and it could be anyone's game this season.
It could be anyone's game, although in this first race, it looks like Klein and Goretti are not going to be scoring points. You just see some damage there on Deli Guanti's car. He was one of those that hit the back. I think it was one of his teammates' car that he ran into the back of at Tamburello corner. That won't do the car too much good. I think it may be pulling to the side now, actually. He's not in that pile in the... So it could be that they are dropping into the back of the field, or he's going no further in this.
Yeah, Pietro Deli Granti, disappointment for him, but he'll be probably out of this race as well, with already a little bit of damage coming in. Aria Levy, all okay for him, all okay for our top three. It was from 4th downwards where all of the chaos started and where all of the chaos happened. Luckily, though, we were able to get our front view people through cleanly, and then it all started with Marvin Klin. Cass Havocott, here he is in the number 24. Great to see him in the GP Elite car as well. He continues with that team after the season. All of the drivers strapped in their cars, ready to get this one going. They're just waiting for the message to come into when this race will resume. But as you mentioned, Tom, 12 laps we're going to get to. It's a reduced distance, and race will start at 12:07 local time, which is actually in 2 minutes.
Yep. I don't know whether it'll be a rolling start or a standing start. My guess it'll be a rolling start, which would probably be the more sensible decision, just to reduce the chances of what we had at the first start, let's say. It feels like a brand new race now that they've it's going back to effectively to lap 1, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. And that's usually exactly what happens when we kind of have this type of start as well, where we need to find ourselves with an extra start due to a crash on the opening lap. It basically is kind of like the race properly getting going again. But yeah, it probably would be the best idea to let these guys do a standing start. That's usually what they do, especially in Formula 2 and Formula 3. No matter what the circumstances, they don't really dish out any standing starts. Standing starts, of course, it all comes down to the race director's discretion of what they want. And usually for the support series, they do give them the rolling start rather than a standing, like they would do for Formula 1 as well. The Tifosi out there in the grandstand, they are all preparing and waiting for hopefully something that isn't as heartbreaking as yesterday for Ferrari. I think it's fair to say, Tom.
They could do with some glory, don't they? Both Ferrari drivers, as well as Kimi Antonelli, starting outside the top 10 later today. They've got a fight on their hands, but you never know with race strategy. We saw how abrasive the C6s proved to be and how effective the C5s can be. So there could be a mixture of strategies playing out today, but more on that later. The field are ready to go behind the safety car. They'll do one lap at least before the safety car lights go out, and then we'll know for certain whether it's going to be a rolling start or a standing start. But my guess is that it will be a rolling one.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. We'll wait for race control to give that. Right now on our race control screen, we can see that the track is clear. That's the message we're getting. We'll wait to see whether there's any message in terms of what type of start we will be having to resume this race. Green light is on, and the field will be putting their foot down and getting back going, and hopefully we'll get racing on the next lap as well. Jaap van Lagen, an experienced driver when it comes to the Porsche Melbourne 1 Supercup. Well, he's won plenty. He's won, I think, 2 races it is, has Jaap van Lagen. So a superb performance by him. JB, what have you got for us?
Confirmed rolling start.
Yes, there we go. You can see now on screen. Rolling start is confirmed exactly as we predicted.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the most sensible thing to do. Someone's pulled into the pit box, actually, because he seems to have picked up a problem. But we'll get more on that in a little bit. But yeah, rolling start then here at Imola. 24 minutes in terms of the timer is ticking down from now. The series was raced 16 times at this track in 1993. 14 of those during the San Marino Grand Prix days, or most of which during the San Marino Grand Prix days. We've been here in 2022, we've been here in 2024, again in 2025. So 13 of those been in the San Marino Grand Prix days, as far as my memory is concerned, as far as that. But I think we're going, it could well end up being a procession, to be honest with you, because we need to get a race finished here. It's as simple as that. We don't want to be coming away here with no one picking up any points whatsoever. So it could just be the drivers wanting to settle down and just come away with a race finish under their belts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what we're going to see. It will be interesting to see whether Theo Overhouse is able to hang on up against Ariel Levy. That fight is going to be really interesting. But the top drivers in the field being able to keep it clean, our top drivers being, of course, Overhouse, Levy and Harcourt, our top 3. They were really good when it came to approaching the Tamburello chicane, and then it was all happening behind them. Let's see how they approach this one, though. A rolling start, so it's going to be down to Mr. Theo Overhouse to get his foot down and take us to the green flags, and I guess get this season underway properly this time, we'll hope.
Overhouse drops the pace then as he allows the safety car to pull off, so that it leaves it room to peel into the pit lane. He is essentially the pace dictator, the pole sitter effectively, race leader. Theo Overhouse gunning for his first win of the season. I don't know how many times he's won in the Porsche Supercup before. Apparently he's won twice in the DTM Trophy, as far as the Porsche Supercup is concerned. He hasn't won one yet. This is his second campaign in this series, so it's a chance for him to pick up his first win today.
Jack Van Loggen has won twice, Marvin Klin has won twice, Giretti's won one time. Everyone else, if they are to see the checkered flag today, it would be their first win. The Porsche Mobil 1 Supercup is going racing once again as we get 2025 underway for proper this time around. Cas Havercourt is going to put some pressure on Ario Levy down towards the Tamburello chicane. Are we going to see the GP Elite driver pull to the outside? Will it be to the inside? Can he find a way through? The top three maintaining order down into the Tamburello. They're all making their way through cleanly. Exactly the calm start that we predicted that these drivers would do after a big accident. They all want to try and get to the checkered flag, but now the Supercup chaos starts to begin as we're very nearly side by side for the lead, but it is going to be the lead maintained by Teo Overhouse.
Yeah, driver in 4th place dipped a wheel into the gravel trap. They stayed on the circuit for the time being. Though we look at Overhouse, the onboard rear view of him as he comes out of there ahead of Levy and Havercourt. So the top three remaining in the exact positions as they were at the initial start on the grid, and they're just settling into the race now before they go racing. Before they start for real, Havercourt on the tail of Levy for 2nd place as they come down the hill, and I think it's starting to hot up a little bit in that fight as well. It is for 4th position.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to apologise, by the way. Well, we've got new timings for the Porsche Supercup, but they're absolutely still providing wrong information in terms of our order. So it is not. We still have drivers who have stopped up there as well, like for example Marvin Klin in 4th. So we hope that fixes itself. But he's not absolutely in this contest right now as they do battle for 4th position. We're very nearly 3 wide further back as we head down towards the Ravazzas. It's going to get very tight in a couple of moments time. Who's going to appear in front? It's going to be Yannis Stiak, but he's going to be wide, and we're going to see Flynn Schuring diving down the inside as Yannis Stiak runs wide on the gravel. He's going to lose plenty of positions. It's an absolute brutal brawl as they come out of the final corner. Keegan Masters has been able to move on through as we still go side by side, and now we're going to see in the Hideka colours Michele Ascona trying to put some pressure on as we go towards the Tamburello chicane once again. Yannis Stiak still side by side. They're battling for 2nd place, and Havercourt won't be able to get Byron Levy. A brilliant start to the season. They're all going for it.
Yeah, Masters making the most of all those jostling amongst themselves through into 4th place in that blue and red livery machine, and they're just filtering their way through Villeneuve now, this lot. It is really hotting up, actually. I'm looking forward to see how they do battling. It feels like there's more battling over at Ravazza compared to what we usually see at Tamburello Corner. We'll see soon enough next time around whether we will get some more battling from the top three and all those behind Keegan Masters, who is at the head of that particular queue.
Yep, absolutely. What a race this is turning into in this Porsche Mobil 1 Supercup. A brilliant way to start the season after a red flag was called earlier on for a huge incident which saw plenty of drivers eliminated. A great start to the championship. Schuring is really starting to put some pressure on now. Let's see whether he can go on the attack as we take a look at the replay of our restart, and that is where it was all happening in the field.
Yeah, there was a driver that put a wheel on the gravel on the exit at Tamburello. Find who that actually is. It's not Keegan Masters, because that's him in the blue and red livery car that got by. I think it was Stiak he got by first, or it might have been someone else. I think it was Schuring. It was Schuring that put a wheel in the gravel trap at Tamburello. Yeah. And this is Jan Stiak who's going to go 2D. Tight line into Rivazza, never a good thing. And that just allowed both Schuring and Masters to head through. And someone else went through at the same time. It was the number 26. That would have been Hugh van Eindhoven, making the most of that too. So Jan Stiak losing about 5 places in a space of a few hundred meters.
Havercourt having a look, darting left, darting right, trying to take 2nd place. Can't do it at this stage. The top 3 in formation are really going for it. And I'm still looking at our timing board, which still has Marvin Klin up there. So the timing boards aren't updating, JB, as you can see. Good new timings, but, well, they look good, but they're not really working, are they?
No, they're not. So basically, anybody who has the interval gap, they are in the race, and they're just take everybody else out of them, all by, of course, Theo Overhouse, who is the leader. Track surface slippery, sector 14, it's just come through, but Jaap van Legen doing very well up there as well at the moment. What a fascinating battle we're having. I'm enjoying this immensely, and yeah, it's not bad actually, just being able to be in the pit lane and look at the data. Fastest sector 1 times keep cropping up, but the drivers are losing a lot in sectors 2 and the beginning of sector 3 through Variante Alta.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually the live timings that are down right now in general, because the world feed isn't showing any of those timings either at the moment. So it's all going wrong with that.
Oh, Tag Heuer, you have one job. Why is it every first race of a new series they go down?
Oh god, alright, it's not working. Okay, if we just look and see who's delivering some overtakes, we're going to take a look at a replay. This is to Varianti Alta, and that is going to be Shearing, really getting close. And oh, a bit of damage as well coming from Sausage Curve!
And that's why everybody lost time on that last lap time. Didn't know there was debris there.
Yeah, the bollard, someone hit the bollard as well. There's some debris on the pit straight, thinking of it as well. Don't think it'll trigger any form of intervention, but that is not a good sign for these Porsche drivers. You can still get punches from running over debris like that. We do see those sort of stringy bits of the front bumper sort of being strewn across the circuit from time to time with these machines. As we see Dirk Schouten in 11th place, who is sat behind the number 9 of Pietro Delaguanti, who is still in the race despite that front bumper damage he got, or the bottom of his bonnet, from the contact at the start.
Yep, great to see as well. Dirk Schouten, a driver, of course, with nearly 1 million followers across so many different social medias. A really popular driver amongst fans as well, and that is getting super tight. Gus Burton really trying to get the power down, and he's trying to do battle as well down towards Piratella, and he's currently finding himself up against Diego Bertinelli, and that's a battle that is currently going on as we arrive down to Acqua Minerale, and some fantastic racing to start the season. Now it begins to calm down a little bit, and that's Pietro Delaguanti just doing a good enough job right now to just defend ahead of Schouten.
Yeah,
Timing's fixed.
So we're getting reports of the timing that's now being fixed. Thank you very much, JB, for filling us in on that. Taylor Overhouse leading at the moment. It's not picking up on the correct lap. It's on. So I'm looking at the timing. So yeah. So whilst one problem has been resolved, another problem has just been developed. So that's what we're having to cope with at this moment in time. But we're looking at the top 3 of Overhouse, Levy, and Havercock going over the line. The laps have now fixed itself. It's updated. So we're now actually on lap 6 out of 12, approaching the halfway point in this race. The field is really beginning to spread out now as we are closing on the first race finish of the season. It looks like Sabo Overhouse, not the fact that he's got this one in his pocket, as Flint Shoering posts a new fast lap of the race, but he looks in control, doesn't he, Omi?
Yeah, he does look in control indeed. A great start for Teo Overhouse on both restarts. He only came under a little bit of pressure when we got down to the wheel nerve. Other than that, really great defending, really great work that he's doing, as we see lots of gravel being kicked up with the drivers taking the wide line. Still it's in contention, still it's close though between our top 3, so some fantastic fighting all the way to the checkered flag hopefully to come as well, as they all stand on the power. We're going to go side by side further back, and it's going to be a great battle hopefully coming in a couple of moments time as Gus Burton tries to get down the inside. Let's see whether we can do it into Piratella, and we're going to see Diego Bertinelli won't want to give it up, and he's just going to avoid the gravel there, and Burton is going to be able to move on by.
Yeah, it was only sensible for Bertinelli to let Burton go through that time around. Burton was always going to have the inside line once he was alongside on the exit of Tosa. It's kind of like slam dunk when you get really good traction out of there to get an overtake. Now, this is a replay. This has to be the number 6 that's just going through the gravel. That's Dylan Yip at Acqua Minerale, losing the position as a consequence. He's in 20th place right now. This is the overtake from Burton, actually. He bump drafts Bertinelli. Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way, but he does get into the slipstream and then pull alongside and get past eventually. Wheel-to-wheel banging, almost.
Yep, just a Supercup style, basically, this is. It's not your single seaters, you could get in trouble for just pushing someone out of the way like that. Not here, though, as we take a look at Hu van Eenhoven trying to put some pressure on Flint Shoering, who's of course the brother of Morris Shoering, as we finally get live timings on the world feed as well come into play, which is quite nice to see. So you can see that Overhouse is still finding himself in close proximity to Ariel Levy, so Levy's close, but Overhouse is doing enough at this stage of the contest. But if there is any mistakes, then the opportunity is going to be there. I just love that how close it is, and it means that when we do head to some circuits where overtaking is a little bit more easier, we're going to get some fantastic racing.
We should do, especially in the closing laps of this one. They won't have taken too much life out of the tyres considering the stoppage that we have had. There is Schuring ahead of Van Eindhoven. Van Eindhoven, who is one of the veterans of the series. Last year he ended up 6th in the championship. Finished every single race virtually, including the one at Boston where he was classified as a finisher that time around. 85 points he picked up, and interestingly got 2 podiums at Spa and its home event in Zandvoort. Let's see what he can do this time here. He's all over the back of Schuring a little bit, but he's dropped away, riding over the sausage curbs at the Variante Alta.
Yep, currently making his way through Variante Alta, looking further back to see whether some of the battling will continue, and that is going back to the number 15, making its way through of Aaron Mason, who was off the road alone in qualifying. He's off the road again. Aaron Mason finding himself now back on the power. He's going to lose a position, and that's going to be Dylan Yip, who's surely going to fight away by as well. And there we go. So a big moment coming in. Aaron Mason really struggling around the circuit in the Super Cup.
Yeah, he's putting a wheel in the gravel at Variante Alta, which is never a good thing. We're going to get a replay of Mason putting a wheel in the gravel. There he just took a little bit too much curve and maybe a little bit too much speed for good measure, and that was easy enough for Dylan Yip to go back through. Got back what he lost by running wide at Ackerman Raleigh not too long ago.
Yep. So looking at the gap, they're starting to spread out. Is our top 4 to some degree. It's still close, but they are starting to get some little gaps in there, meaning that they're not under pressure all the time. But the battle will still go on between Schuring and Huub van Eindhoven as we take a look at Theo Overhaus and hear from him now.
Mega pace. Keep it up.
Brilliant pace indeed. He's performing absolutely brilliantly, and it's exactly what he needed to just get his head down and just pull away basically. And he's got a good gap by the Super Cup standards, and Overhaus doing everything right now as we take a look at a replay of him navigating his way through.
Yeah, this is the perfect way to tackle the Variante Alta, not taking too much. You do want to take some, but not too much. But with these cars, given the amount of buffer the suspension has that encourages you to tackle those sausage curbs, it does feel satisfying when you ride over them, providing you don't run into the gravel trap or anything like that. So Overhaus is absolutely controlling everything here at Imola. Reduced field after the smash up at the start that saw 10 cars.
Guys in front of you making huge mistakes, so keep on pushing. I think top 10 is in it. Okay.
That's another radio. JB, I believe you have something for us.
Yeah, Flint Schuring, who is running in 5th position, leading the Rookies Trophy races, of course. Black and white flag, not once, but twice. Now, that's come up as well 2 times, black white flags. But the first one came from the first aborted part of the race, so he's just avoided a penalty. He was the one who cut the corner and gained an advantage at the Villeneuve chicane. So this second black and white flag doesn't count for a penalty because the first race is declared that's enough. It doesn't count.
Null and void, basically.
Yeah, basically. Exactly indeed right now at the moment. Taking a look back from Dirk Schouten. And Dirk Schouten seeing Sebastian Freimetz directly behind, along with Gus Burton, who's been able to push a bit away from Diego Bertinelli. Lap number 9 out of 12. We're heading into the final stages of our opening race of the season. And a great way to start the triple header with Monaco coming up next. That is going to be quite a lot of chaos, hopefully, as well. And then we're going to be heading to Spain, as we mentioned, our return to Spain, as more gravel being kicked up.
There's Gus Burton, who is stuck behind. Just trying to see on the picture there, he's behind the 12th place driver. That will be Sebastian Freimuth. So a chance for him to score some points. Now, just a rundown on the point system for those who are new to the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. It's not the same as Formula 1. It is slightly different to that. We can just get the points system up, because I know it can change from time to time. So it's the top 15 finishes of each race that count towards the championship. And there's a bonus of 2 points for the driver who secures pole position in qualifying, which is Theo Overhaus. So 25 points in the offing for Overhaus at this stage. There's Freimuth. You could just see the front end or the bottom of his bonnet sort of flipping. You do sometimes see that in races, Omi, where the front bonnet can just lift off a little bit. Not that it will cause any performance problems for Freimuth, but Burton giving a little bit of challenge really to try and get past it. There goes Framo into the gravel at Tamburello.
He's going to lose a lot of time there, and it's going to be a position lost as well, and that will be Bertinelli, who will move on by and move on through as well. Loads of errors, loads of mistakes coming in by the field, which is exactly what we expected when we're at such a challenging racetrack. Selling the dummy, late on the brakes, that's going to be Ruiz trying to make the move, and he was definitely having a look, and he's up against Jonas Greif right now, also in that battle. So some great, phenomenal action here in the Supercup as we take a look at a replay.
Just ran well. He took the curve so heavily it ran wide, and Burton said, "Thank you very much."
Absolutely.
Is that exactly what I said?
It was.
I most become the telepathic individual or whatever.
Looks like it. Perfect. Exactly. Thank you very much indeed. He says, brought to you first at JB Motorsports before it came anywhere else, everyone. Okay, here we go then. Final laps now. We're on lap number 10, about to become the penultimate lap, which is lap number 11 now. And there we see in our picture right now, Dirk Schutter making his way around the final corner as he waits and sees if there's any other opportunities in this race as the fans start to come in the grandstands, ready for the F1 Grand Prix later on today. But here we go then, down into turn number 1. Huub van Eindhoven has been stuck behind for so long. Is there anything he can do to get past Flint Schuring, who's on his way to get the rookie win by the end of today?
Yep, Flint Schuring looking very good at the moment. Van Eindhoven is one of the veterans, as I mentioned earlier, looming in behind. The rookies in terms of the top 3 are Flint Schuring, Pietro De Laguanti, and Dirk Schouten. Dirk Schouten on course for the rookie 3rd place finish. I think they are the only rookies left in the race now, actually, thinking of it. So, although, no, sorry, Jan Stiak is in 2nd place, Pietro De Laguanti is 3rd, and Dirk Schouten in 4th place.
Yep, absolutely. Just going through the chat, Cole was wondering what happened earlier on in the race. Well, we had a big crash that took out so many contenders. From 31, we went down to 22. That was at the start of the season. Then we've also got a question, do they stream this on YouTube? No, they've barely got any coverage of this. It's just the F1 broadcasters who stream their Porsche Mobile and Supercups. That's about it. And then most of them only stream the race anyway. So lots of less coverage of the Supercup. So everyone has to come here to join us to watch. So thank you if you are doing so right now as well, as we take a look at some replays. And that was Frank Porte Ruiz, who found himself off the road slightly, and continuing on, which we've seen many do so far today.
Last up then, Teo Overhouse stretching the margin over Ariel Levy, and Kaz Havercourt just keeping Levy honest for the remainder of this. It has been an interesting race. Obviously, the big headline is obviously at the start, where we lost 10 drivers, but the rest have been able to keep their noses clean very much all the way through. And it's going to be some start to the season for Teo Overhouse. Can he become a Porsche Supercup champion this year, considering the likes of Larry Tenforder, Harry King, and Dylan Pereira not involved this year?
Yeah, so many talented drivers have stepped away from the Super Cup, and it's allowing new talents to come in and shine. Teo Overhouse, one of those talents as well. He had a season last year, but this season he's going to try and make it his own. He was part of Lechner Racing, of course, a team which had so many drivers like Harry King, constantly in the fight, constantly winning, and it was hard to shine in that team. And now, of course, we have Teo Overhouse, who finds himself moving on through to Proton Huber competition, and he's about to take them to victory as well. Ariel Levy, the number 25, on his way to 2nd, and then Kaz Havercourt's going to be on his way to the podium as well. But we are making our way to the last few corners on the last lap. Overhouse's moment is finally going to come in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup in his 2nd season. He's going to start it off brilliantly. After securing the 2 points for pole yesterday, he's about to secure all of the points available today when it comes to race victories. He's out of the final corner. He will be weaving to the checkered flag. Teo Overhouse wins for the first time in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup. A superb performance, and he is punching the air with delight in celebration after taking the flag in the season opening race for the Super Cup. Ariel Levy's in 2nd, Havercourt's in 3rd, Masters is in 4th, Flint Schuring gets 5th, along with the rookie win. But it is going to be celebration coming in for Proton Huber competition and Teo Overhouse, who are heading to the top step.
A brilliant win for Overhouse, scintillating stuff from him. Controlling as well from the restart made it look so easy. Well done to Ariel Levy finishing second, and Kaz Havcourt, who just missed out on the rookie championship last year, getting his Porsche Supercup season off to the best of starts.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he's quite happy as well, as Piers Pryor mentions that in the background. But yes, quite deserved, and he was absolutely elated to get that pole position yesterday. And I remember hearing on the radio in that qualifying session, about 20 minutes before the end, he found himself talking with a team that they need to get a lap. They need to get a lap. They were scrapping everywhere, trying to get a lap, and it was a lap to pole position for them, and they found themselves in contention to win the race as well. It's going to mean the world for Teo Overhouse and Proton Huber competition as well, as Aria Levy secures a very good second place, a great way to start the season and his campaign. Let's hear from him.
Yes, come on, that's it. Me too. Amazing job, buddy. Amazing job.
Deserved. He'll want the win though, but he's going to get many chances, Tom, on the evidence of today. He's going to get many chances. It was under pressure from Havcourt in the early stages, but today it was a brilliant defense from Levy in the early stages, then able to just pull the gap to what he needs to. Himself, Havcourt are both going to get chances to fight for victories definitely this season.
I can imagine so as well. Kaz Havcourt, in terms of his results in the Porsche Supercup, third last year at podium in this series. Remember Kaz Havcourt when he was racing in Formula 3 not too long back. So he's clearly enjoying life in the Porsche Supercup. Teo Overhouse, well, how many more wins will we see from him in the near future?
That's the question. A deserving driver, Teo Overhouse, and I'm so happy he's been able to, of course, move teams and still get success. Lechner Racing, a team that does so well at this level. Let's take Overhouse again.
This car was the rocket today. Yes. Good job, Theo. Valuable points in the championship. Good start to a good season. Thank you. Couldn't be better, huh?
Oh, we finally got a bit more coming in from Overhouse. We could tell he was excited, we could tell he was happy, but a few more words to come in once it's settled down that he is a Porsche Supercup winner. But these are the best moments where he is getting congratulated immediately, and he's got team members hitting his car basically with their hand. And now he's out of that car and he's into the hands of his team. This is the moment which the drivers love, when they can finally call themselves the winner. It's a great moment for team and driver when they step out of that car and they know that they've done the job absolutely brilliantly. It's time for the photos, it's time for the celebration. Teo Overhouse, a Porsche Supercup winner for that first time. And just take a look at all of those celebrations down there. These moments, always special for these drivers, Tom.
Absolutely. And he'll be celebrating long into the night after what's been a brilliant weekend for him, getting pole position and the win. We won't have too long to wait, as they'll be racing in Monaco next time out.
Yep, absolutely. They will be racing in Monaco. And, of course, Tom, like Formula 3, like Formula 2, they will do practice on Thursday. They'll have qualifying on Friday, and they won't do anything on Saturday. And then they'll be back for the race on Sunday. So the action is going to get started on Thursday for these drivers. So not too long at all to wait, even sooner than what they usually would have in a double header or triple header. And then straight after that, we'll be on to Spain. We've got an exciting couple of weeks. We've had to wait for the Super Cup to begin, but they're finally getting going as well. And then straight after that, we'll be continuing the season with Austria. And we're just taking a look at Parc Fermé, all of the celebrations that go on for the drivers, and now they finally get to cool down after that race. And there was a lot going on in that race, we have to say as well. So I think brilliantly controlled by Teo Overhouse. When a driver has a red flag and they don't know then, of course, what's going to happen next with the whether we get going, they need to go analyze and see how big the incident was, because they would have, of course, heard about it. So with all of that going through the driver's mind, a great safety car restart after that then, to get back into race mode, which the drivers have to switch straight into, and then to control that one all the way to the flag. Brilliant job, and showing Teo Overhouse's talent, which sometimes he wasn't completely able to show yesterday. Last year, rather.
We head into the cool down room, and there is the team on the pit wall for Taylor Overhouse, crossing over the line to celebrate a win, and he's in part. Oh, he was in part family. I was just looking at the replays there. And what starts the season for both him and for the team heading into Monaco next weekend. It's a busy schedule for them this year. Time to go down to the cooldown room to hear what they're saying.
Did somebody hit it? I don't know. I could just avoid it. I'm really sure. Poor bunny. Really, I was like sad. I didn't want to. Oh.
In the start, there was a big rush, right?
Yeah,
I did not see it.
I saw Robert spinning around. Oh no.
It might be a chassis, actually. In the rear wheel. Wow. Ciao. Congrats.
Check that out.
Congrats, guys.
Good job.
Niet normaal, jongen.
Congrats,
Wat is
guys.
gebeurd? Congrats.
Ja, ik zag alleen de spiegel. Ik zag alleen de spiegel.
Wow, what a miss.
Wow. It's a lot of cars, huh? Oh.
We all had a good start, huh?
Yeah,
we both.
we directly had a gap. Like, I think almost exactly the same. We could just slot back in it.
Ja, split kwijt, jongen.
Ja,
Ja.
oh, dat was het.
Ja, dat was een kut.
Ja, dat was wel
Dat
lastig,
was echt
ja.
niet normaal.
Maar je hebt
Someone with track limits penalty? You know?
Maar je bleef wel voor Huub, of niet?
Ja. Snelheid was nog wel goed, alleen gewoon huis met kut.
Ben jij dat? Want ik zag jou ook één keer daar, voor mij, of niet?
Ja, die eerste ronde herstart, maar toen lag er nog iets midden op de baan volgens mij. Ik gleed hem.
Ja, klopt.
I want to drive more. It's too short.
You want to drive more laps on P2?
Well, maybe I can try to catch, you know? Oops.
Sorry.
Well, try to overthink.
Your top 10 result confirmed. Overhouse, Levy, Habakkuk,
Yeah,
Mark.
absolutely. And stuff. You can, of course, see right now on our timing page all of the results, as Chris was just reading, of course. Overhouse Sunningan's the winner. We'll go through them all in detail later on as well as they wrap up in the cooldown room. And then we get ready for the podium celebrations. We'll have, of course, the main podium. We'll have the rookies podium. So double the celebration to come in a couple of moments' time. But it's a hard situation now coming in for a lot of the field who didn't have a good race today. They're heading into Monaco, which of course, if you remember to 2021, they had a big pile-up coming in that year as well. So we're going to hope, Tom, that we don't get anything of the same, as we would like to have a clean start at Monaco and give all of the drivers the best chance to duel it out at the Principality.
Absolutely, and there's the thing of strategy involved. Is Porsche Supercup don't exactly have that. It's just essentially a spin to the flag as we get ready for the podium moment.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to come on, and it will be Cass Havoc to driver, who's of course come from single seaters, but I'm sure he's still loving life just as much here in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup, racing on the Formula 1 weekend. He's got GP Elite to celebrate down there with him, and then guess what? They've got another driver heading up there is GP Elite, and this time his name is Ariel Levy, onto second position. But our winner of the contest is Teo Overhouse, and he gets his first victory in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup, and we are going to get ready to see him You can see how much it means to Teo Overhouse. Completely deserved. And it's time for him to get the trophy presented to him as well, Tom. Pointing straight to the team members that have helped him and assisted him get there as well. Mario Levy, the driver, who also has been very competitive when it's come to Super Cup racing before, but not as competitive as this. Staying for Havercourt, he'll be looking to try and become a winner this season. Only 4 drivers now in this field can say that. And now it is time for everyone to move away from the podium and to let the drivers loose with the champagne. It is time for the celebrations after an extraordinary race for our top 3, a deserving podium, and Cass Havercourt immediately out of the celebrations and putting his attention straight over to Monaco as well, and we'll hopefully have the rookie podium happening as well in a moment's time.
Yeah, Flint Shuring with Duganti and Dirk Schronson in there too. But I'll let you deal with that, Omi, when it comes in. That's your podium at the top. They're cleaning up as well the track, so we've got 20 minutes until the parade of the F1 drivers, so we should just make it, but it's a bit messy out there.
Yeah, there was a lot of debris, of course, that came out in that race as well, and we did say that they would have some work. So it's a good idea that they moved it to 12 laps as well. It gives them still a little bit of time to clear that debris and that extra stuff, because I mean it's a Super Cup race. Of course, even after the red flag, once everything's cleared, there's always going to be that little bit more coming into play. Right, time for another podium then. This time it's the rookies who also put in a brilliant performance and deserve this result as well, and it is going to be heading to 3rd position for Pietro Deli Guranti. He will be in 3rd, and then in 2nd place it will be Yannis Stiak, and our winner will be Flint Shuring. He's taken the rookie win, and a deserving rookie win as well for him. But now it is time to welcome Flint Shuring, of course, the brother of Maurice Shuring. Both Shurings are quick on the evidence of today. Time for the national anthem of the Netherlands. Formula One national anthem, by the looks of things, was just, of course, played, coming in along with some Super Cup cars in the background. But there's the trophy being delivered as well to Flint Shuring. Absolutely deserves that one. So does Yannick Stiak after his performance that he has been able to pull off today, and he'll be happy to get on that podium along with Pietro Deli Guranti, who finished 10th overall in the race. But he'll get his trophy to also celebrate with everyone watching on this rookie podium that currently takes place. And we now are about to have the final bits of celebration from the Super Cup as they start with the champagne, and the party begins after a brilliant event at Imola. And our attention will turn, of course, to hopefully another brilliant round in Monaco and in Barcelona. Those two will be next, and then also to come as well, along with Spa, Hungary, the Netherlands, and our season and journey ends in 2025 at the Temple of Speed at Monza. It's going to be brilliant, it's going to be exciting, but that brings the podium to a close. We take a look at a replay of all of the drivers lifting that trophy, pointing to their team members and spraying that brilliant champagne, which they will definitely enjoy coming off what is a sunny day so far at Imola, and hopefully it'll continue into Formula 1. Well, that wraps up everything. We're going to go to the results in a moment. But Tom, what's your final thoughts from the Super Cup in the opening round of the season here at Imola?
It was business as planned for Taro Houseman's start, and best of luck to him for the remainder of the season with Monaco next up.
Yeah, Monaco's going to be very, very interesting. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in that. It's going to be a really exciting round of the season. Okay, well, time to run you through the results then in full of this one. Tino Overhouse ended as the winner, Ariel Levy in second, Kaz Havercourt finished in third, and then it was Keegan Masters in fourth, Flint Shearing in fifth, Hu van Eindhoven was in sixth, Michele Skona finished seventh, Jaap van Logden was in eighth, then it was Yannis Piak in ninth, Pietro Deligeranti in 10th, Doug Schuchen got 11th, Gus Burton got 12th, and then it was Diego Bertinelli in 13th, Sebastian Freimert in 14th, Horst Felix Svobomeyer in 15th, Jonas Grief is in 16th, and then Frank Porte Ruiz was in 17th, Sam Shaheen in 18th, Dylan Yip in 19th, Aaron Mason in 20th, Francesco Maria Fenici in 21st, and Matisse Jalbert in 22nd. And those were all of the finishes, and then the rest were all classified as a DNF, which have disappeared off the timing board. But that is it from Imola. That is the 33rd season starting